Hello, YouTube. I know I've been wearing the bun look for some time now. It's been busy. You get what you get when you get a video a day. With that said, let's do this. Nothing is far and nothing is near, if one desires. The world is little, people are little, human life is little. There is only one big thing: desire. I wouldn't say that nothing is impossible. I wouldn't say that nothing is far or near. I wouldn't say that the world is little, people are little, human life is little. I would say there is one big thing. It's not the only big thing, but it is a big thing, and that is desire. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Recognition and then desire. You have to be aware enough to see a problem or an opportunity. You have to have some sort of insight into your life and your situation and life itself in order to even see something, to dream of something, to envision something, to want something, to recognize a need for a change in an area or in yourself, to see what's out of balance, to see what you need and want. You have to have insight and recognition. But without desire, you can't get anything off the ground. No man can change another man. The best therapy in the world cannot change you. You have to want it. If you want it, if you desire it, if you are driven, recovery from addiction comes when you are ready, when you want it, when you are sick of being sick and tired, not when you know you should. Recognition and insight is the first step, but it doesn't move you. Knowing you should intellectually, even wanting to on some level, but true desire to change, true desire to pursue, true desire to do something creates action. And that action has to come from within you. Something as simple as doing your dishes can seem insurmountable when you are unmotivated. Truth is, it's just not that important to you at that given moment. If you desire it badly enough, you will find a way, or you will at least attempt to find a way. But without true desire from inside of you, you won't even attempt. Desire makes far things near. Desire makes a big world seem smaller because it makes things seem more accessible. True desire in the heart of a man will move him in the right direction because it self-motivates, self-propels. Human life is not little, it's amazing and big, but it is brief. And what you truly desire in each and every moment is what you will move toward, positive or negative. Easy way, hard way. Healthful way, immediate gratification. Revenge, forgiveness. Whatever it is that you desire, that is where you go. So whether you want, you think you should, it would be good for you, you have the recognition, you have to cultivate a desire within you, a drive within you, a reason within you that self-motivates, that creates a pull instead of a push. Because we naturally go where we desire to go, even if it's a negative direction. We don't realize we're doing it, but we do what we want to do, even if we don't want to do it, until we don't want to do it anymore. And then we make a change because we desire something different. Desire makes a profound impact on your ability to move in the directions that you want, because it is what you truly want. The difficulty is training yourself to want the things that are good for you versus the things that you want. You can practice things like immediate gratification versus long-term outcomes. The immediate gratification of ease and comfort and not bothering to exercise and eat well, to sit around and eat that cake will be nice, comforting in the moment, but repeated in the long term continuously will lead to health problems down the road that you can't undo. Is it worth it to train your brain to be in discomfort in the immediate for the long-term gains? Like not blowing money through your credit card for something you want now, you desire now. Think of instead the emphasis on the long-term gratification of not being in debt, not spending money you don't have to spend, having to make up for that later with money you don't have, the stress you will have, and putting more emphasis on the discipline in your spending and only using credit when absolutely necessary, when you have the funds to pay it back or to build a credit history, knowing full well you have the capacity, the actual money to pay that credit back, or in emergency circumstances, being disciplined with your spending now is a little uncomfortable. But if your desire is for the long view, the long game, and your desire to not be in stress, turmoil, and debt scrambling later, it's much easier to be disciplined. That's one way to help modify your internal desires, is focus on long-term outcomes and the feeling of ease and quality of life and quality of health and quality of friendships and quality and decreases of stress and all of the things that will come with positive right decisions now that may not be the easiest things that you necessarily want. Play the whole thing out. Another option for trying to reorient your desires is something that's used in recovery circles. It's called play it out, where you play the whole thing out to its end before you pick back up. If you are in recovery, before you pick back up, before you use, before you satisfy that momentary lapse of judgment, that physiological craving, that psychological craving, before you make that mistake, if you find yourself unexpectedly in a situation where you are surrounded by the wrong people in the wrong environment and you're triggered, that momentary urge before you pick it up, before you use, before you gamble, before you shop, before you restrict your food, before you binge. Whatever your addiction is, addiction comes in many, many, many forms, not just drug addiction. Before you indulge in that addiction that you are in recovery for, play it out and see the long-term scenario. The guilt you will feel for having to start the clock back at zero. The repercussions from the family and friends. The sick feeling you will feel, psychologically, emotionally, physically. Play the action out to its fruition, not just the immediate, momentary of indulging, but you've been here before. You know how this turns out in the long run. So play the whole tape out in your head to its resolution. And that can help you when you're engaging or about to engage in negative situations, circumstances, and activities in the immediate. Dialing up people in the middle of the night, emotionally unloading personal information on social media, or to strangers, opening up Pandora's box of personal information because you're emotionally up to here. And you just need to let it out, and you let it out in an inappropriate context, inappropriate place, before you make certain decisions that could be damning and damaging to you, is to play the whole scenario out to its end. And that can help you from falling back into old negative habits. Another avenue to help you reorient your desires is to brain fog. Think of your why and think of your who. If you have a strong why that you are doing a thing, that will help motivate you. If you're facing a health scare and you have neglected your health the entire time, suddenly you have a heart attack and you flip like a switch. We don't have to wait to a crisis to make that choice to change our lifestyle. But often we do. We wait till a crisis. A loved one has a heart attack. But if you have a history of bad genes, health conditions in your family, diabetes, heart disease, cancers, and things, it's really good for you to be preemptive. Take care of yourself. If you have small children at home and you want to stay alive for their wedding and to see their grandkids, that can be a good strong why for and who for what you are doing. Having a strong enough why and a strong enough who can help you foster and grow the desire to do a better thing. Cultivating self-love, legitimate, genuine self-love, can help move your desire for appropriate things up, because we don't fight for, we don't care for, we don't work for, we don't protect with boundaries and self-respect and dignity. We don't bother with what we don't care about. If you don't love yourself enough, you're not truly loved. Like you would protect a child. You would make sure a child got exercise, healthy food, friendships, quality sleep, fun, creativity, education, not toxic substances, and stayed away from danger and bad people, and all those things you would do for your child. If you don't have children, you can imagine what you would do for your child. All those things you should be doing for yourself. But that comes from a place of self-love. If you have a place of self-loathing that you are coming from, you're going to be more inclined to desire to do immediate emotionally soothing activities that make you feel comfortable now but cost you later, like running up the credit card. So those are just a few things you can do to try to make your desires be more positive. There is, just to run back through them, um, thinking of long game, the duration of your life, long-term benefits, and really focusing on feeling how that will feel to receive that long-term payoff for this momentary discomfort of regular exercise or eating that broccoli or taking your vitamins, and you're tending to your uh, mental health and your diabetes or asthma or other illnesses, physical and mental, that you have. Um, Having those difficult but necessary conversations, doing those things that are good, that are uncomfortable now, but will have long-term gains. Focus on the long-term repercussions to distance yourself from immediate things. Play it out before you reach for that entire bottle of wine, that entire cake, before you get on Facebook and let it all out about your bad blind date or your boss or your landlord. The people look you up at future jobs and rentals on the internet before you disclose in necessarily to the clerk at the grocery store before you injure yourself, before you lash out at other people, before you make those knee jerk, emotionally driven, panicked, frustrated, stressed, negative responses or relapsey type situations, is to play it out to its end point. That gives you a mental pause and allows you to see how this will actually end up to your detriment, and allows you the moment for your emotions to come back down and for you to see objectively, and that space can prevent you from doing those things that would actually harm you. The other one is to have a strong why and a strong who for why you're doing the difficult things that you're doing that don't come naturally and easily to you, but are for your benefit. Why do you need to get out of this domestic abuse situation? Because you love yourself, because you're worth it, which is actually the least reason, not the least reason, is self-love. Cultivate self-love, self-worth, self-esteem. You are worth it. You're worthy of being loved, respected, and treated with dignity. To keep your children safe so they have a healthy role model in you and a safe environment to grow up in. Don't have psychological trauma for later. Your why and your who will move you into better directions in your life. So whether it's a dream or a goal, a character improvement, a problem or an obstacle you're trying to stop, a bad habit, a good habit you want to add, desire. True desire in the heart is what's going to make that chasm of impossibility seem much greater. It will drive you instead of willpower, having to make yourself do a thing. Why power, true desire, has a pull. It will pull you in the right direction, in your own individual, personal right direction. But again, to bring it full circle, you can lead a horse to water, You can't make them drink. You can know a thing, but until you truly desire it yourself from in here, not because you know you should, you won't change it. Learn to love yourself. Think of the long view. Play the thing out to its fruition. Think of your why and your who, and foster desire in your heart, in yourself. Drive passion in yourself for the things that you truly want and need in your life to be happier, healthier, all the way around. Good morning, goodbye. Love you guys. This was a little long. Nothing is far and nothing is near if one desires. The world is little, people are little, human life is little. There is one big thing: desire. Know your why, know your who, play the long game, think of the actual outcome, play it through, and learn to love yourself. Because we don't do what we're not motivated to do, and no one can motivate you but yourself. That comes from in here. But those are some ways that you can help to boost motivation that you may not have to do the things that you intellectually have the insight and awareness to recognize that you should. Good morning. Goodbye. We're done here. Allies with glasses on. Peace. Yeah, I'm not wearing any shoes. Goodbye, YouTube.